Hi there, it's Kevin with RogueDeckBuilder.com here with the standard version of the Dark Deal Waste Not deck. You'll see there's only 51 cards. I'll show you what the last slots are going to be. 4 of them are going to be the Dark Deal. But the nuts and bolts of this deck is going to be Waste Not and Chasm Skulker with the Dark Dealer, because both of them work so wonderfully with Dark Deal. Chasm Skulker can come out on turn 3, and then turn 4 if you Dark Deal, then you can, ideally have a Waste Not out as well, but a Chasm Skulker, you'll discard your hand and then draw that many cards -1, which will end up being probably 4 or 5 by that point, and then you'll have a 5/5 Chasm Skulker that if it dies, you'll get 4 blue squid tokens. So I think we'll have to test the card to see if it actually is worthy of its spot in here. This deck does seem to need some sort of finisher, and we'll look at potential finishers here from the new set. And previously, I thought about maybe even like Prognostic Sphinx, but there's some cool cards out of the Fate Reforged. So the deck is going to have Treasure Cruises. Everything is going to be very, very useful for Treasure Cruise. Sign in Blood puts a card in your graveyard, and you get to draw 2 cards. Or what's cool about Sign in Blood is it can actually be used to make force your opponent to draw 2 cards and lose 2 life. And then, so it's really cool if you have like a Rakshas's Secret and they're out of cards, you can actually Sign in Blood them and then use Rakshas's Secret to make them get rid of them. And again, this deck is very Waste Not dependent. I've seen other versions of people already brewing that have like put in green for Commune with the gods, and I'm just not sold that green is the right the right color to splash into this. So we're running a one of Liliana Vess as an alternate win condition. I thought Jace the Living Guild pack could be another alternate win. We have removal in the form of Heroes Downfalls and Murderous Cuts, and then I've got some more removal in the sideboard. And yeah, so I used to have Grey Merchant of Asphodel as my finisher in here, and then Whip of Erebos to whip them back. It just didn't seem to be working that well. Grey Merchants just get stuck in your hand too much. So let's just look for a potential finisher. So here I am on the spoilers here. We are going to run some sort of number of Crux of Fate, either main board or sideboard, as it is the premier removal that we have for black. 5 mana is not bad at all, either destroying all dragons or non-dragon creatures. Then I definitely thought about the Meringue River Prowler as an option, as you'll usually have a Waste Not out on the battlefield, or maybe you'll have another permanent that, like a Liliana, out on the battlefield, and then you can just keep casting these from your graveyard as long as you have Waste Not. So it's just free cards that you can cast. It is 3 mana for just a 2/1, but it is something that you can use to just whittle them down. Then I'm probably going to run only one Tassigur's Cruelty. Even the delve on here, I want to be delving for Murderous Cuts and Treasure Cruises, and I think if you run too many of these, then you're going to start competing for the amount of ways that you can delve. And this says each opponent discards 2 cards. I think just Rakshas's Secret does more. Instead of making you delve cards out of your graveyard to cast this, the Rakshas's Secret actually puts more cards in the graveyard for you to delve for stuff like Treasure Cruise. So, but then I really can see the point to this of you Dark Deal on 2nd turn or 3rd turn, and then you put a ton of your own cards in the graveyard, and then you add some mana from the Waste Not and the Dark Deal combo, and then you can cast this for usually just 1 black. But I really don't think the upside of that is worth the downside of having to delve so many cards. Now, Fascination is probably going to be my alternate win condition. Each player draws X card, or each player puts the top X cards of his or her library onto his or her graveyard. Most likely, it's just a way to fill your own hand up and your opponent's hand up. It is sorcery speed, unfortunately, so we can't end a turn do this and then untap and make them discard stuff. So you are going to have to give them a ton of cards on your turn, and then try to deal with being able to make them discard them. But again, after like a huge, if you make them discard, if you have 2 open blue and you make them discard a bunch of cards, Fascination with Dark Deal and Waste Not out a bunch of land cards, Fascination could actually fill back up both your hands. And I don't know, each player puts the top X cards of his library in his graveyard isn't terrible either. I don't know. I'm just looking for any other way. Most likely this will be a way that you can fill up your opponent and your own hand at the same time, which is what the deck wants to do. I thought about Master of Feasts as well. Every time I run Master of Feasts, though, it just seems to be a little bit clunky in the deck and not really working as intended. So other cards from the Fate Reforged, I thought about the Dragon. The Dragon is a way that Oh, first of all, how about the legendary creature? I thought this guy might be pretty decent because you can keep getting stuff back from your graveyard. And with Delve, you can basically guarantee which one you actually end up getting back. So this Tassiger the Golden Fang, you put the top 2 cards of your library to your graveyard, then return a non-land card of an opponent's choice from your graveyard. It's a 4/5 for 6 mana. You can actually delve this out pretty quickly and just have a 4/5 beater that then continue to get stuff back. I also thought of Tauren Elemental, and most likely it will be, you can easily keep casting this and then exiling it with cards like Murderous Cut and it's a 3/5. 3/5 is not a bad finisher. So Tauren Elemental definitely seems like it's a optional pick for that finisher. But the other card that I thought about is the Dragon, the blue-black Dragon. And we'll check this guy out here when I can find it. Let's see. So Silumgar, the Drifting Death. So flying hexproof 3/7, that's important. Whenever a dragon you control attacks, creature defending player control get -1/-1. But it's a little bit high casting cost, 6 mana for 3/7. I'm thinking there might just be a better finisher than just this guy. And then remember, Waste Not can be a finisher. It just rarely ever is, especially with Bioblight in the format. It's pretty easy to wipe the Waste Not token. So I don't know. We're just gonna have to find some sort of finisher. Really wish like Liliana's Caress was in the format, or something like a Megrim even, that whenever they discard cards they took damage. But unfortunately we just don't quite have a really reliable finisher in blue-black that I can think of. I thought about maybe like running a dash card or something, but then you'll end up discarding him out of your own hand quite frequently with Dark Deal. It's something we want it to come back from the graveyard for sure, and I'm thinking that might be the slot of the Torrent Elemental. I just wish this was a little bit bigger body or something. I know a 3/5 I guess can work. I'll probably include 1 or 2 of them there. And so for those last 5 slots, Dark Deal occupying 4 of these, you can have some number of, you want a finisher, and you want maybe another draw spell, maybe another discard spell or whatnot. But I've had pretty good luck with this deck as is. Again, Chasm Skulker isn't in my deck at the moment, as we just have Sign in Blood and Treasure Cruise as a way to pump up the Chasm Skulker. But with Dark Deal, now we have a huge enabler to make Chasm Skulker quite big quite quickly. And then I just love this card. When it dies, you get all those squid tokens. It kind of feels like a reverse Master of Waves that isn't susceptible to board wipe as much. But Ashiok, I guess, could be another alternative. The sideboard is so wide open. I thought Profane Memento might be pretty decent. You go first turn Profane Memento, second turn Waste Not, third turn Dark Deal, and you can easily stabilize by if they discard a bunch of creature cards, you're gaining some life. So, and then it's pretty cool with Profane Memento whenever it's put in a graveyard from anywhere. So if you make them discard it off of like Roxasha's Secret, it still works. Or if it comes off the top of their library, it still works. So there's some. We'll have to wait and see if this actually is worth putting in or not. But anywho, let me know what you think about this. This has been Kevin with RogueDeckBuilder.com. Thanks for watching.